It's been a couple of months since I uploaded. I don't know why. Just didn't feel like recording most of the time. Had no good video ideas. But then Halo 4 came to the MCC on PC, and I was like, hey, fuck it. Might as well make a quick overview slash review of Halo. Let's start with the first one, Halo Combat Evolved, and let's start with a great fucking weapon sandbox. Jesus Christ. That's what Halo does best, in my opinion. All of the games have great weapon sandboxes, excluding the Promethean weapons. Most of them are just reskinned human weapons with some little variation, which is kind of disappointing, but you know. Enough about that though. Let's start with the human weapons. They all have a great punch to them. Like you can feel like you feel like you're shooting a weapon just by the sound design. It's fucking amazing. Let's start with the assault rifle. It just mows down the lower units, and even the stronger units like elites and hunters. If you can hit the hunter weak spot, that is. The shotgun. Can you fucking not? The shotgun, man. Shit, the shotgun. The best shotgun in gaming history. Hands down. If you can get a clean shot on something, it will most likely die. It's fucking amazing. And the pistol, it's OP as shit. On my first playthrough of the second level in Halo, in this game, Halo 1, I shot down a fucking Banshee, which is basically an airplane. I shot down a fucking alien airplane with a pistol. Need I say more? And the Covenant weapons are all unique. They all have their like little purpose that gives you an edge in combat, which is amazing. The plasma rifle, it drains elite shields like that. It's great. The plasma pistol, if you charge it up, it insta takes down both elite and jackal shields. It's really effective if you have a pistol too, because then you can. It's called the noob combo. It's basically, you know what it is, where you charge up the plasma pistol and shoot an elite, and then switch to your precision weapon and shoot it in the head. It's a quick kill basically. And the Needler has tracing rounds, and when the enemies die from the Needler, they fucking explode. It's so fucking over the top. I love it. Now let's talk about the story. And at its core, it's a mystery. I knew most of the story beats before I played it, since I had played Halo 3 through, and I had touched upon Halo 2 and Halo 4, as a matter of fact, before I played Halo 1. But that doesn't change. It's a great mystery story. I really like how the game starts. You arrive on a human ship. That's another thing. Like, the humans have utility over style, most of the design, and the Covenant has style over utility. It's kind of an interesting dynamic, since the Covenant are religious fanatics and the humans are just trying to survive, which is why they don't really care about style. But they still somehow manage to make it look cool. I'm way off track. Yeah, the story. It starts with you coming in on a human ship, and you see this ring world, and you instantly, I can imagine you would instantly start to wonder, what the fuck is that? What's its purpose? Why is it there? And it's slowly revealed throughout the story what the purpose of it is, and then you find out when you rescue the captain that he overheard some elites saying it's a weapon.
While the Covenant had us locked up in here, I overheard the guards talking about this ring world. They call it Halo.
One moment, sir. Accessing the Covenant BattleNet. According to the data in their networks, the ring has some kind of deep religious significance. If I'm analyzing this correctly, they believe that Halo is some kind of weapon, one with vast, unimaginable power.
Which seems like bad news, since they already have such a technological advantage. That's just shown in the first mission, where the Marines are basically helpless against the Covenant until you arrive. And then you go through this entire shit with the Flood and 343, and then Cortana reveals it wipes out all life in the galaxy to cut off the Flood's food supply.
The Flood is spreading. If we activate Halo's defenses, we can wipe them out.
You have no idea how this ring works, do you? Why the Forerunners built it? Halo doesn't kill Flood. It kills their food. Humans, Covenant, whatever. We're all equally edible. The only way to stop the Flood is to starve them to death.
It's not supposed to destroy the Flood. It's supposed to destroy its food supply. Which is a great twist, even though I kind of knew it. And then there's also why are the Covenant interested? It's mostly religious purposes. They believe it transcends the godhood. I can't fucking speak. And Sergeant motherfucking Johnson.
Man, we let those dumb bugs out to the middle of nowhere to keep them from getting their filthy claws on Earth. But we stumbled onto something they're so hot for that they're scrambling over each other to get it. Well, I don't care if it's God's own anti-son of a bitch machine or a giant hula hoop. We're not gonna let them have it. What we will let them have is a belly full of lead and a pool of their own blood to drown in. Am I right, Marines?
Sir, yes, sir!
That's it, Sergeant Johnson. Final rating for Halo Combat Evolved, an 8 out of 5. That seems fair. We are now at Halo 2, which is the best story in the franchise by far. But let's keep the format and start with the weapons handbooks, eh? The human weapons do lose a bit of their punch, which it's fine. I prefer probably the human weapons in CE. Or I would if it weren't for the fact that the weapons sandbox is expanded upon. The AR is basically just split into the battle rifle and the SMG. The pistol, it's not good. It's the worst in the series. Maybe Halo 3. No, you know what? Halo Reach has the worst pistol. I'm just gonna say it right now. The shotgun is still OP as shit. I still get jittery every time I find it on the battlefield. And dual wielding, it's cool as shit. And I do it from time to time. But it's mostly impractical. You can't melee, or when you do, you drop the other weapon. And you can't throw grenades. The Coven weapons are mostly just expanded. They add the energy sword, which is probably the coolest weapon ever. The carbine is probably one of my favorite weapons in the series. I don't know why, I just fucking love it. And you can now use the Covenant rocket launcher, or the fuel rod cannon, which you couldn't in Combat Evolved. Another story, to me, Halo Combat Evolved is the mystery, and Halo 2 is the world building. We get to see Covenant society and all the little internal conflicts which eventually lead to the Great Schism or the Covenant Civil War between the elites and the brutes, and yeah. We also get to see how fucking ruthless the Covenant leadership is.
The Council decided to have you hung by your entrails and your corpse paraded through the city. But ultimately, the terms of your execution are up to me.
The prophets, they backstab each other. Prophet of Truth, he basically tries to commit genocide against the elites. Because they're starting to wisen up, or at least their higher up, they're starting to wisen up to his BS. So he just goes to the more newly spacefaring race, which is more susceptible to manipulation, which is what they did to the elites originally, and basically make them the warriors, and they betray the elites. And then there's the Arbiter, which is, I'm not the first one to point this out. I don't remember where I heard it from, but he's probably kind of ironically the most human character in Halo. He's originally the commander of the fleet and army you fight in Combat Evolved, and after the destruction of Halo, he is shamed and he gains the title of Arbiter, which used to be a symbol of honor amongst elites, but it's now a symbol of shame. And when he's betrayed by the prophets, he kind of has to come to terms with the fact that everything he believes is a lie, and then he forges an alliance with the humans. He and Sergeant Johnson, which, by the way, Sergeant motherfucking Johnson.
Dear humanity, we regret being alien bastards. We regret coming to Earth. And we most definitely regret the Corps just blew up our raggedy-ass fleet. Hoorah!
For me, Halo 2 would be an 8.5. That's a very high and fair rating, I feel. Now we're on to Halo 3, my personal favorite in the series. Let's just start with the sandbox again. Covenant weapons are slightly expanded, not a lot though. It's very similar to Halo 2. Not that I'm complaining. While the brute shot wasn't too, it's much better here. It's much more common, and it's not as OP. Ammo is more around. It's still a very effective weapon, and the brutes get their own standard weapon instead of just a reskinned plasma rifle. What I noticed after I played 1 and 2, because I finished 3 first, is that Halo 3 basically just combines those two. The AR is back, the old pistol design is back. Other than that, it's basically just, like I said, a combination. The SMG is still kind of unless you dual wield them, but like I said before, dual wielding is kind of a... It can be useful, but I prefer to have just a two-handed weapon. The shotgun is still OP. Not much else to add. The story is a climactic finale. It's great. You get to see the end of the Human Covenant War. To some extent, there are still Covenant remnants, as revealed in 4. You end the Flood, but Halo Wars 2 said fuck that shit. Johnson dies.
I'm getting you out of here.
No, you're not. No, don't let her go. Don't ever let her go. Send me out with a bang.
They had to do my boy like that, you know how it is. Prophet of Truth dies by the Arbiter's hand, which is very fitting, but unfortunately the Arbiter does take more of a backseat in Halo 3. You get to see a sneak peek at the Chief's and Cortana's relationship in Halo 4. You see they care about each other in a weird way, and Chief even goes out of his way to go into the primary Flood hive to rescue her. And also Scarabs are just fucking cool. I love fighting those things. It's so simple, but it's so cool at the same time. I just love it. Overall rating, 9 out of 10. Now, Halo 3 ODST. I actually haven't finished it. Something about it just didn't keep me around. Like, I love the open world idea. I love the just you're a regular guy idea, or guys. But something about it didn't keep me. That's really all I have to say. Overall rating, can't rate, haven't finished. Now we're at Halo Reach, which is... it's a fine Halo game. The story's good. I actually fucking hate the multiplayer. Not that I've talked about the multiplayer so far, but... yeah, let's just start with weapons summary again. The Covenant sandbox is greatly expanded, with lots of new weapons, grenade launchers... yeah, and a new plasma rifle. What was it called? Was it called the Strom rifle then? I don't remember. The human sandbox is also slightly expanded. The DMR, a grenade launcher. Yeah, I think those are the only two that stick out anyways. It also has a great bleak story. Like, everyone dies. And you also know you're bound to fail. Like, Reach is mentioned in both Halo 1 and 2. And it's mentioned how it was destroyed by the Covenant, so, you know. And also, I'm not the first one to point this out, far from it, but George, the heavy weapons expert, gets blown up. Kat, the brains get shot in the head. June, the sniper, disappears. Carter, the leader, goes down the ship. Emil, the knife-loving psychopath, gets stabbed, and Noble Six, the lone wolf, dies alone. That's just... it's poetic. And also, I love how the last mission, like it's a meme. Current objective, survive. But it really, because you know he is a lone wolf. There's a theory that he was a headhunter. You know, like I haven't really looked into it. I've just heard of it, but it works because you're alone, just fighting a horde of Covenant, and the game and the mission only really ends when you die, which is it's cool. It kind of shows off skill, like how long could you last in the final mission on whatever difficulty you would like. The customization is fucking amazing. The customization works both in single player and multiplayer, which I like quite a lot. And noble team, every character is likable in their own way. George is very noble, Kat is very smart, Carter is he's a good leader. June is kind of snappy, and he's the sniper, and snipers are just generally cool, right? Like Lee Harvey Oswald, what a cool guy, huh? Fucking hell, I'm sorry. I guess Emil is just kind of a psychopath. And you also you feel the camaraderie between them, but the team still presents itself as a no bullshit team, which works because Spartans aren't supposed to be like joking around, which is the reason for I fucking hate Fire Team Majestic and Spartan Ops. But you know, overall rating 7.5 out of 10. Now on to Halo 4. I like it. It's a very decent game. Weapon sandbox is greatly expanded, but it's mostly for the worse because it's mostly the Promethean weapons. They're basically just human weapons with slight differences, like, you know, like what's it called? Don't remember. Like, they have the assault rifle and the BR basically, and the shotgun, and the rocket launcher is more of the Covenant, but it's still basically just a redesigned Covenant rocket launcher. Like I say, with slight adjustments, like the knockoff BR. When you zoom in, you shoot one powerful bullet instead of the 3-round burst. It's kind of a neat concept, but like, I don't know, it's just lazy to me. Like, Halo has always had a very expanded and different sandbox. Like, every weapon is unique. Like, if you see a how to word this, if you see a DMR and an assault rifle, for example, you can pick and choose the cons and pick up the one you like more or is better. But with the Promethean weapons, you basically just pick up the one which has more ammo lying around, which is mostly the Promethean weapons, since you're mostly fighting Prometheans. The Covenant gets also like small adjustments, like they bring in back the grenade launcher from Reach. They drop the plasma rifle and just bring in the storm rifle, which I don't like. The plasma rifle was such a cool design, but the storm rifle is just kind of like a generic alien weapon. It doesn't talk to me. Fuck the shotgun design. It looks fucking stupid. The BR design is okay, but the old one was better. The pistol looks kind of sick. Yeah, that's about it for weapons. The story is quite good. It's basically just a character study of Master Chief. It basically comes to the conclusion that Chief is a sociopath due to mental and physical abuse during the Spartan program by Dr. Halsey. Due to this sociopathic tendencies and basically being in boot camp for his entire life, his only friend is the AI that the army gives him. It's kind of like, I would imagine it's kind of like owning a body pillow in the future. But when she dies, it's in my opinion very well done. It's touching. It's kind of sad to see Chief let go of his only friend that's alive anyways. I guess Johnson, but he's dead, and Miranda, and every Marine that went to the Ark. Yeah, But the worst part about this is actually not Halo 4's fault. This is Halo 5's fault. I'm briefly talking about it. Cortana dies, it's very well done. And it could have shown Chief changing, becoming more violent, more angry due to his lack of companionship in the sequel. But instead, Cortana comes back from the dead and it's basically just Skynet. It's... Well, the Diadact is a decent villain. He's kind of silly. He speaks in long, poetic monologues, which, to be fair, the Prophets did too. But he looks kind of cool and he feels threatening. Like, you see him compose that science station. And then when you start shooting that beam at Earth, you can imagine how many people are dying down there and there's tension. I actually felt like I needed to hurry during the final mission, which is what I look for in a game. Even when there's no time limit, if the game doesn't have a time limit but you feel like you need to hurry, that's tension done right in gameplay. Halo 4 would be a 7 for me. It's far from the best in the series, but it's still a very decent game and I did quite enjoy playing it. The story is good. The weapon sandbox took quite a bit of downgrade even though it was expanded. And yeah, that's it. I'm not rating Halo 5 because it's not the MCC, but I did rate every game besides 5. And I barely touched upon ODST. But that's it for the video. Thanks for watching, I guess, and I don't know, stay tuned or something. I don't fucking know.